Introduction to the Downloads from the Nine by Matias, Flury. This book was created with the purpose of propelling the spiritual development of human beings who read it with attention. This transformation is happening as a consequence of the diverse geomagnetic and universal changes that are occurring in present times. The changes have already begun. After 2013, the world entered parallel dimensions of transformative energy and will experience ascending vibrational frequencies until the coming of the year 2095. From 2013 to 2095, humanity will be subject to the experience of a very powerful evolutionary process that will change the face of the earth. At first, this book will be read as we are used to, from left to right. After this section, there will be a second part where the writing is arranged in a spiral. This system will deeply penetrate the psyche, modifying and restructuring electromagnetic frequencies within the reader, which in turn changes and enlivens the DNA and RNA strands that are currently dormant. Every word written here will instill radiant light in the cerebral neurons and neurotransmitters, opening intercellular portals. Every sentence that you read in this book and every letter that you see directly sees the energy arranging chromosomes combinations in the physical body. In the astral dimension, these words activate very fine energetic filaments that are attached to DNA strands and coat the meridian channels with crystallized spirals of light. In the causal or spiritual bodies, reading this book will open the gates to the soul, giving it access to new horizons of perception in 9 parallel dimensions, as well as the possibility of absorbing higher vibration nutrient sources that are streams of living astral liquid light. This book is a gift from beings inhabiting parallel universes. They describe themselves as the 9 devas of crystalline atomic fire, known as seraphim in the West, essentially the archangels. They are not to be confused with the Council of 9. Their only purpose is to reactivate the evolution of the human race. Their work begins by the process of transmuting the causal body that encases destiny, followed by the transformation of the astral body, energy body with thousands of meridians, keeper of emotions, to finally culminate with a complete physical transfiguration. The transmitted frequencies won't be felt strongly at first. However, you will feel some emotional effect generated by the debris this cleansing leaves behind. Once the body is free of these emotional fragments, brilliant vibrations will embrace the nervous system in the form of pleasurable and/or ascending tingling sensations. At other times, ecstatic waves will flood the entire body. If the nervous system is not yet strong enough, the reader will feel small tremors or even experience internal seizures along the spine. These nervous reactions derive themselves directly from the neurocellular system. As you read, you will encounter many physics and chemistry terms. If you don't understand, do not worry. the magic will still touch your soul. Try to read all the words carefully to bring forth the desired effect within your three bodies. There are many other celestial beings apart from the nine working in unison with this book. These beings, the authors of this book, have committed to help and oversee the transformation process that takes place while you read. They will profoundly affect your nervous system, cells, or neurons, whose main feature is to transmit and captivate electromagnetic pulses. They use the neuron's hyperreceptive plasmatic membrane, which is also capable of absorbing subtle astral vibrations, to communicate with you and transform you. In other words, these sweet ethereal beings take advantage of this cell receptivity, the electrical impulses, the stimuli of the neurons, and their capacity to conduct impulses, to introduce interdimensional messianic fibers. Yes, that's like Christ, Jesus the Christ, that kind of messianic fibers that easily become one with the electrical impulses. In this way, the plasmatic membrane assimilates them. With these energy exchanges, we also influence the neuromuscular synapses directly where the junction between the axon and the effector is located. These forces, the myelinic fiber and the terminal plates, to vibrate with continuous lightning-like impulses that slowly change the structure of these presynaptic terminals. This indirectly affects the sarcolemma or myolemma, the synaptic vesicle, the nicotinic receptor, and the mitochondria. If the myelin is thin, the body will experience tremors. This is an adjustment phase to allow these transformations. However, the 9 Davids of crystalline fire will stimulate the myelin to thicken it, enabling the body to advance further ahead on this evolutionary process. The brilliant 9 are Devas of transparent fire and are responsible for the changes this book will set in motion. Their work begins by subtly changing the space between the end plate of a neuron and the muscle fiber membrane, known as the primary synaptic cleft, with solar radiation which acts as a cushion. The angstroms tend to duplicate due to the incandescent lightning of the devas of transparent, ultra-bright atomic fire. At the cellular level, the light is processed by the potential energy until it penetrates the synaptic cleft, generating an intercellular realignment that forces the release of the neurotransmitter known as acetylcholine. The acetylcholine is transformed instantly after its emancipation by tiny cyclones of ultra-incandescent light, which are associated with the contraction of the muscle cells on the astral plane. Gradually, the body will overproduce these light-powered neurotransmitters. They will emerge as pure crystal flowers in the large ocean of the mitochondria. In this way, curing the terminal ends of the axons that were previously embraced by denser shadows. As a direct consequence of this cleansing process, light tremors might occur in some cases. Do not worry if you start to shake. This is normal, transient, and intermittent. It will only last for a few days. In the folds of the muscle membrane, there are lively and intelligent enzymes called acetylcholinesterase. The Devas use these enzymes to destabilize the acetylcholine. Employing this enzyme, they entwine them together with tempestuous light and swirl them together to transmute the neurotransmitter into luminous choline and acetate of a higher nature. The choline then is reinserted into the presynaptic terminal, drastically changing its rubric signature. This process bestows a sense of tranquility upon the person. Part of the discarded acetylcholine bears a form of antagonistic energetic resin that was implanted by the forces of the nebula. The opposite force or energies of devolution, essentially the digital matrix, artificial intelligence hive mind. This waste will be reused beyond the synaptic field to create a depurated energy source that will be used in a further phase to feed certain nerve endings. The other phase of the acetylcholine will reach the muscle membrane, just as lightning strikes the surface of the ocean during a storm, resulting in a calming effect over the muscle contractions. When the 9 devas inject their luminous beam, the acetylcholine, in conjunction with the enzyme process, will degrade the molecule into 3 components. As a result, the neurotransmitter will have minimal contact with the dark and impure membrane receptors, allowing the devas to create a chain reaction of incandescent light without any overstimulation or sustaining injury to the muscle fiber. What I'm trying to say is that the luminous beings are experts at what they do and will not affect your neurobiological body negatively in any way. The changes will begin to be felt by everyone in different grades. The devas will give the humans as much as they can handle, and this varies in degree. It all depends on how the human treats his, her body, their genetic vehicle. Hopefully you're treating it as a temple. Try to make your system strong and healthy, and you will receive higher amounts of power. There is a factor of sobriety and protection when given a transfer of energy, since the nerve could be affected by impulses out of the norm. The devas are eager to help and give you everything they have, but will never put 2,000 volts in nerves that can handle only 100 volts. This will be an intense process for some and easy for others. Everything depends on how sensitive the person is. The normal frequency of neuron stimulation in the astral realms is 150 times per minute, and the beings of light increase it up to 300 per minute, without allowing the natural decline of neurotransmitters released into the synaptic gap. The changes will take place first in the causal and astral bodies, and then slowly will flood the entire physical body. Namaste, namaskaram, Matias Flury. Thank you so much. So that was the introduction to downloads from the 9. I think I'm just going to kind of start over with the whole process and redo everything. Hopefully that'll be sufficient and adequate for you, my most dear, esteemed, honorable, noble, and notable viewers. We have only but ourselves to look within, to free ourselves from the prison that is the digital matrix, that is the artificial intelligence hive mind, that is Maya, that is delusion, that is really the ego. The ego is illusion. Stay tuned. Namaste. Namaskaram.